Order. First we are going to do is pause to seek guidance, please. All right, and our mission statement: to provide, promote, or facilitate municipal services that meet the community needs while preserving, supporting, and enhancing quality of life for all. Approval of the agenda. Is there any additions or deletions? And I do have one. I'd go under new business, joint meeting with the town for shared services. There will be 2 reps if we decided.
Under number 11?
Yeah.
I have one too.
Okay.
I just wanted to, it's in regards to Hubert Johnson receiving an award, so I want to put that on there.
Hubert Dontremont,
He received an award, and I want to count the recognition.
he didn't receive the reward. We did.
He just accepted on
He
part
accepted
of
it on our behalf.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's do it for all of them then. You have to leave the room.
Never mind.
No. It's for the hospital, I think.
Oh, the hospital?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you, when you said we, I thought you meant us.
Oh, no, we the hospital.
You're like,
Sorry.
All right.
We the real job.
Okay, well then, I'd like to have that down number
Yeah.
11, or 12, I mean.
Sorry about that.
Um,
Is there any other additions or deletions? Hearing none, will someone move the amended agenda?
so moved.
Is there a seconder?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The first thing we will be doing is presentations. The first one is fire truck rally, Mike Bartlett. Could someone move to have Mike come forward, please?
So moved.
Is there-
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you for your time this evening. I just wanted to bring you up to date on the fire rally that we're doing again this year. Went here last year, and thank you for your support last year. So it's June 14th to 16th, which is Father's Day weekend again. We're sticking with the Father's Day weekend. Since it is a family event, we thought Father's Day is appropriate, and we'll continue with that. So last year, this was last year's schedule. We had the premier here for the opening ceremonies, Heidi with CTV Morning Live, and it went very well. Highlights, we have in the upper left-hand corner there the fire marshal, in the middle the premier doing the Bucket Brigade Challenge. The winners of the Bucket Brigade, Brighton Barton, Code 4, a company that does Jaws for Life. Britain Auto Body in the middle there with some crashed up cars that they supplied us with. Well, good cars till we crashed them up. On the far right in the middle is the rescue boat with DFO, Annapolis Oil, DNR, and of course our canteen lower left with buskers in the middle, DNR helicopter, and of course the Midway. It was definitely a family entertainment weekend. People came to breakfast in the morning at 7 o'clock, and a lot of them didn't leave town until 11 o'clock at night. So it was a good day. It was competitive. We had the Bucket Brigade on Friday night, good crowd as you can see for the turnout. And of course the fire marshal was there, and Brighton Barton the winner, along with the premier in the middle again. The rescue boat, we only had 3 teams of rescue boats, but we hope to improve that this year. But at the same point, it's still good to have the exercise, and a lot of this stuff, whether there's 2 people, rain or shine, it's still training for us because it doesn't matter whether it rains or shines for us anyway. The vehicle extrication, Code 4 is back again this year as a bigger sponsor for us, so promoting it across Canada for us, and we are the only fire truck rally in Canada. So we confirmed that with both Code 4 and with FireFit, who do the TSN challenges on TV. You see the FireFit competitions where they do the challenges. We're hoping to have them here next year. They're in Bridgewater this year, but we're hoping to have them here next year. The fire departments that showed up, we had a $20 million parade, 44 fire trucks in the parade at $500,000 each, so we had a $20 million parade. Probably the most expensive parade in Canada. We met our target last year. We wanted to go from Kentford right around to Bridgewater. That was our goal, to keep it small, to see who we could attract. And we, as you see with the names of the fire departments there, we did make our goal from Kentford all the way around to Bridgewater. The trade show, we had I think 14 booths participating in a trade show. All of them are coming back next year. We had 2 emails last week on 2 new companies that heard about it, and we haven't even put anything out yet this year, so it'll probably be twice as big this year as last year. We're also moving our trade show downstairs this year to the feedback from the trade shows. They want to be more in with the festival itself. They found that they were excluded up top, so they're going to bring them down this year. And it's only going to be Friday night and Saturday, only 1.5 days for them, because they thought 3 days was too long as well. But you live and learn the first year. So as again, the second annual will be June 14th, 15th, and 16th. We're expanding into New Brunswick, PEI, and Ontario this year, so we'll be sending, actually this email here is the email that we send out to all the fire departments in Ontario, Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick. So when they click on the email, this actually pops up. It's not an attachment, it actually clicks up to that. We're doing the pre-rally again at Walmart. They've given the okay to do that again in May, so it gives us an opportunity to raise almost $1,000 towards the fire truck rally. The competitions this year, there'll be the Bucket Brigade Rescue Out in Code 4, and of course new additions. People want to see some more fun stuff for people to watch, so we're doing the hose laying challenge and the fire truck pull. Also, feedback that we got was more education. We wanted more education, more training for firefighters, so we're bringing the burn trailer down on Tuesday, so that'll run from Tuesday to Saturday, so fire departments from this area can book the trailer on during the week, during that night. So if the fire department wants to come or waiting for someone, they can actually book the trailer, and be a very minimal cost for them to train in it. And also we're putting on a firefighter safety and survival course. And we've also been approved to do the fireworks certification course, so that'll happen on Friday from 8 to 4. It's $150 per person, and that gives them the certification to set off fireworks. And as part of the fireworks certification, you have to have 3 shows, so the fireworks on Saturday will count as 1 show, so we'll get 1 show in as well. And we've had 2 register already, and we haven't even put it up there yet. We're really early this year. We've requested the St. John Fire Department 35-piece pipe band. We contacted them last week. They look very hopeful to come. Bridgewater Fire Department has a concert band, so they'll be coming to perform a concert. We've asked for the CFB Greenwood crash truck and the CFB Greenwood Cormorant helicopter. All the specs have gone in for the helicopter to come, so it looks like we're pretty well on track to have the helicopter. The opening ceremonies will be the Minister of Health this year. He's confirmed, so he'll be here on the Friday night for the opening ceremonies. I also try to hook up maybe meeting with joint councils to speak to him in the afternoon. Never hurts, I guess, when the Minister of Health's down. We've changed a little change this year as well. We're doing an agency display day on Sunday, and the ones in red have confirmed that they're coming. MAD, Digby Senior Safety, DNR, RCMP Explosive Unit will have the robots here. We'll have the fire extinguisher, 911 sign, fire prevention booth for the kids, IWK Children's Hospital, Atlantic Burn Camp, and the Red Cross. And we're adding to that as well. So on Friday we start out with the fireworks certification course from 8 to 4. Maritime Midway will be here again. Last year we had 3 rides. This year they're doubling to 6 rides, so we're going to have a chance to have bracelet day and stuff like that for the kids. They thought it was a little expensive last year, the public did, but when you only have 3 rides, it's pretty hard to do a bracelet, so this year they're going with 6 rides. The opening ceremony is at 6 o'clock, trade show opens at 6. Subway Much Music pre-teen dance will be at 7 o'clock to 8:30 in the fire hall. Bucket Brigade Challenge at 7. The Subway Trade Show Hospitality Suite with the Digby Fireballs, which is our band. They'll play a little reception downstairs for the trade show and people who are watching the Bucket Brigade. And then we'll have a Much Music team dance upstairs at 8:30. On Saturday, the firefighters' breakfast will start at 7 to 10. Last year, they did 400 breakfasts, 300 the first day and 100 on Sunday. So I imagine that will grow this year. The Midway as well. DNR actually just confirmed about 2 hours ago that they're bringing all their stuff again this year. So we'll have their aerial display at 11 o'clock. Fire truck parade display. This is a little different. We're going to start from Montague Row. Instead of starting at Tim Hortons and coming all the way down, we're going to start at Montague Row, and we'll come down Water Street, and then we'll stop when we get to Captain's Cabin. We'll line them up all on the water side of the street all the way up, and then you can tour the trucks and everything. So a little feedback from last year is they said, well, no one got a chance to see our trucks. Well, I thought you were going. You just said you weren't staying, so they want to stay, so that's a good thing. So from 12 to 3, we'll let the kids and parents and everyone look at the fire trucks from 12 to 3. Trade show at 12 o'clock, and then at 1 we have a trade show demo, which is Eric Boland from Driving Solutions. They have a simulator where you sit in and shows what happens when you text and drive or drink and drive. And it actually shows the fireman cutting you out of the car, and shows the paramedics putting a neck brace on you, the whole 9 yards. So it's a pretty neat display. So we're trying to get to Arthur Hatton, people who drive in solutions and stuff like that, to bring the kids in to take driver's ed to learn something from that. Then we're hoping for the pipe band concert from 2 to 3:30. United Church is doing a fish chowder supper again at 4:30, which is right next to the fire department. Due to the tides, the rescue boat display will be at 6 p.m. Concert from 7:30 to 9:30. Parade of rescue boats, and then the fireworks at dark. Sunday, the breakfast again, church service at the Baptist Church, agency and display. We'll start from 9:30 till 3. Hose laying contest at 11. The military demo, which is the helicopter with Ralph Cummings' boat. We're doing a rescue display off a fishing boat. Then we have the fire truck pull, Bridgewater concert band, the Code 4 vehicle extrication. It will be across from the fire hall this year. A lot of people couldn't see it last year, so we're putting the bleachers up on the street right across from the fire hall. And down in the parking lot, the vehicle extrication will happen, so people can look down and see it. And hopefully it won't rain, so we won't have to have our fireworks on Sunday. We are doing corporate sponsorships this year. We're going to send out sponsor letters. We didn't ask for any sponsorships last year. We lost about $3,500, which we're happy with. We didn't plan to make any money, so we are going to send out sponsorship letters this year. So what we're requesting from the municipal council is if we can advertise in your newsletter from this date on. I don't know how many more issues you have until June, but if we could put the one on the right as an ad in the newsletter would be great. Permission to land the cormorant at the airport if need be. They did ask for all the specs of the airport, so we sent that all into them. I can't see them using the airport. We'll probably be down for an hour and a half, and then fly back. So I don't know what the thing is there yet. And King's Transit on Saturday for the free rides from Annapolis to Weymouth on Saturday. So that's it in a nutshell for this year. Questions or?
I'm going to make a comment. Mike, we've already agreed that we will be sponsoring the Saturday of the rally. The only thing is, for us, it can only go to Cornwallis where our bus ends.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah.
Just to let you know that.
Mm-hmm.
We will have to go through Mr. Wilson to find out about landing the helicopter.
Just if they buy fuel.
They did ask about fuel.
Ooh.
And advertising, we have to check with Linda, and she's shaking her head yes. So you've got everything you've asked for from us.
Perfect.
And actually, we've gone ahead with the first one already. We have given 4 different Saturdays in the year. One for the fire truck rally, is our first one. Scallop Days is our second one. Wharf Rat Rally is our third one. And the Lobster Bash is our fourth one. Well, not those, you know, the orders. We think it's important to give it. Now, comments from anybody or questions?
No,
Ritza?
I just wanted to ask vendors, are you gonna have those again down at the,
We are having
I missed
vendors,
that.
we are having vendors if they want to, we're not pushing it. For those who want to vend this year, yes, we will accept the vendors. We're looking at putting them in with the carnival this year instead.
Because I heard there was a lot of,
Yeah.
concern over the fact they were so far away from where
Yeah.
everything was happening and they
Yeah.
didn't get very many people.
No.
Yeah, if they were closer, that would probably be.
Is there a cost to them?
Yes.
Oh,
there's a
yeah.
cost. We've reduced our costs this year for the vendors. It's not really a
Vendor
vendor
thing?
type event anyway, you know what I mean?
Yet.
Yet, yeah, we're hoping to get people that do firefighter stuff and stuff like that. But by all means, if people want to do like the quilts and stuff like that, by all means, once we grow a little bit more, but you're right, they were too far up on Admiral's Walk, so this year we're gonna put them in right with the carnival. So we've had a couple ask already, so.
I just, because I
Yeah.
had heard those comments.
I know you were at the main. Town
Either,
center.
either Marina or the by the monument, I can't remember
Yeah,
which one.
yeah, you were at the
It
monument
wasn't too bad.
last year, yeah, it wasn't too bad, yeah. So.
And David, you have a question?
Yeah, why PEI, New Brunswick, and Ontario, and not Quebec? I thought that was kind of interesting.
Well, I'll tell you why Ontario. We were only gonna do New Brunswick and PEI, but there's a group that comes for Wharf Rat Rally and they stay at Henry Hubbard's house
And they are firefighters.
and they're firefighters, so.
Okay, just wondering.
And also Code 4 is out of Ontario as well,
Okay.
so it's easier for Code 4 in Ontario to promote Ontario. So, we will go across Canada eventually, but we just don't wanna, again, grow too fast.
Can't miss our French friends.
Yes. So,
Any other questions? Are you gonna go back?
Yeah,
Say?
maybe if it's free, if not charged.
It's next to free.
No, I'll get an application.
Okay, if there's no other, I want to thank you very much, Mike.
Well, thank you.
We do appreciate, and I'm glad we're able to help you with our request, so you know now that
Great.
it's great. Please, make sure that you take your advertising that you want to Gordon, who will pass it on to Rob.
Okay,
Please.
okay, thank you.
Looking good.
Okay.
Getting better all the time. I didn't make the last one, I can't remember what.
Okay, we have another presentation.
I'll move that
And-
Jamie Lewis comes forward to council.
Okay,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Uh,
Contrary minded? Can we have a little, okay. Then we'll be on camera.
Thanks for having me, council members, warden, municipal staff. Last time I presented in front of a group like this, it was at the Tri-County Regional School Board, and it felt much more official than this, so I enjoy this one much better than the last one. So for those of you that don't know who I am Jamie Lewis, and I lived in Weymouth Mills and here to Weymouth. I'm the general manager of Lewis Moldings in Weymouth, and it's because of Lewis Moldings that I'm here tonight. I've tried to keep this brief, so I'm not going to go into a big long spiel about what Lewis Moldings is. I think for the most part we have sort of at least a brief understanding of what we are. But we are, it is important to note that we're one of the largest, if not the largest user of eastern white pine logs in all of Nova Scotia. And the reason that is of importance for my conversation tonight is because eastern white pine is a native species in Nova Scotia, and it's also a species that is very prevalent in southern Nova Scotia forests, and especially on the lands that were formerly owned by Resolute or Bowater, which are now owned by the government. For this reason, up until Resolute ceased harvesting operations, Lewis Moldings has historically received approximately 50% of its wood supply from Resolute lands. The future of these lands and the utilization is a critical component to the continued operation of Lewis Moldings in Nova Scotia. As I'm sure most of you are aware, the last year or so has seen a lot going on with Resolute and its land holdings and its holdings in general. Again, a history of this would just be redundant. The important thing to note is that today the province of Nova Scotia owns some 550,000 acres that Resolute used to have, and the province has begun the process to determine how best to deal with and manage all that acreage. It is concerning the future of these lands and the management plan that the province is developing that I want to speak specifically tonight. On January 31st, 2013, so January that just passed, a deadline that the Department of Natural Resources put in place was that they were willing to accept expressions of interest from any groups / individuals who wanted to have access, manage, use, or what have you, the lands formerly owned by Resolute. Although no formal information has been released on the number of groups or the groups that made expressions of interest to the province, we know that from the ever-busy rumor mill that there have been multiple groups submit a proposal. One group that I know for certain that has submitted a work is the group called the Western Nova Scotia Working Community Forest Group. That's quite a handle. I know this for a fact because Lewis Moldings, along with 6 other southern Nova Scotia businesses that consumed fiber from the former Resolute lands, make up the nucleus of this group. As a group of businesses, we employ approximately 700 people directly, and countless others in areas such as tree harvesting, silviculture contractors, truckers, and other indirect spin-offs. Additionally, this group of businesses has historically all purchased fiber from the lands in question. It is also important to note that most of these businesses involved in our expression of interest are family-owned businesses with direct ties to the province of Nova Scotia, and in most cases have at least part or all the ownership who still live in the province and most of this right in the community where the business exists. Our group has, in our submission, expressed an interest in forming a not-for-profit entity that would essentially manage the whole of the lands formerly owned by Resolute. This entity would be responsible for forest management such as harvesting, silviculture, selling of fiber, road upkeep, the maintenance and expansion of the certifications such as FSC, that some of the lands now have, as well as working with other stakeholders to assure continued but appropriate use of the lands for things such as recreational use, ecotourism, environmental protection, Aboriginal rights, and more. It is our belief that our proposal is enhanced by the strong business case that we as a group of fiber users present. A founding principle of our group is that the entity formed to manage the lands must be self-sustaining and able to bear the many burdens that accompany dealing with such a large amount of a natural resource. Through marketing the fiber produced by these lands at fair market values, it is our intention to not only maintain the resource that now belongs to the taxpayers of Nova Scotia, but to enhance it using the revenues to maintain and build roads, develop recreational areas open to various groups, and work with environmental groups to continue fostering a strong Nova Scotia forest. This self-sustaining model is a distinct characteristic of our proposal and should be considered a critical component to moving ahead. Our province does not need to add additional burden of expense to an already taxed system. The time from the announcement that the province was going to purchase the lands to the deadline for expression of interest was relatively short. It was all in all about 6 weeks. So there are certain items that still need to be resolved, and as the Department of Natural Resources and the province work through the expressions of interest and begin to provide feedback, I'm expecting that many of the groups who have submitted a proposal will find themselves sitting on the same side of the boardroom table developing a plan that is beneficial to the many stakeholders interested in the future of this great resource. It is this state of uncertainty that we are in at this time that has prompted me to make this presentation tonight. In the coming months, and perhaps already, you have been asked for letters of support or other supporting actions for groups who have ties or interests to the lands being discussed. In many cases, these other groups will have similar goals and desires as the group that I belong to. So I'm here tonight not to ask you for a letter of support or some public acknowledgement of our group. I'm here tonight to educate you on our existence of our group and express my willingness to this council to be a source of information as questions may arise concerning the use of these 550,000 acres or other crown lands. I do have one request, and that is, should you be asked to issue a letter of support or a public proclamation of support for other groups, that you consider the ramifications that doing so may have on other entities seeking to work with the lands now owned by the province. popular catchphrase in today's world is to be aware of unintended consequences. My request tonight is that as decisions are made by this council concerning the matters I've raised, you simply have an awareness of our group. Thank you for your time and the opportunity to speak tonight. As I already mentioned, if I can be of any further resource to this council as this subject continues to evolve, I'm glad we do so. That is all I have.
Is there questions? Deputy Warden.
You mentioned there's 6 companies that have formed a partnership or whatever to manage the woods. Are they all located in like western Nova Scotia?
It's right at the moment. It's a total of 7. The furthest north or east, whatever way you want to call it, is Ledwidge Lumber, just in Elmsdale there, and then everyone else is Terrios in Clare, Freeman's in Greenfield, LNS in Caledonia, Turner's in Bridgewater, and that's, as I mentioned, the time frame was quite short for pulling this together, and so it was sort of who can get on and who can get caught up in the division. Also LP over in Chester, they're hardly playing with it, but they're all basically from Halifax.
Western Nova Scotia.
Any other questions? George?
Is it an all or nothing thing, like do you have to take management of the whole 500 or whatever number of acres, or can you take half of it, or did they say, or?
There's a lot of debate around that subject, not necessarily in our group. Our group feels quite sure that the best route would be for all of it, simply because there's a lot of upkeep to that land, and it's a big parcel of land, and so we would feel that it's, the best way to utilize would be for it to fall all to one group, and then dole it out appropriately with the right measures and balances to make sure everybody gets access. But I doubt that would be the end game. I know other groups are interested in smaller pieces and things.
Any other questions? David?
Have you spoken to any of the other groups to see if like you mentioned, it's a very large tract, that maybe you could work together with any of the other visions or proposals?
Yeah, we've spoken to other groups.
Do you see congruent? Do you guys?
Well,
agreement?
I'm here sort of in 2 parts. There's, as a part of this group, we've reached out to other groups, and there's not as such yet a real desire to work together yet. Although I think that as time goes, the government will force that, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the efforts from our group, a lot of those conversations were initiated from our group.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the way it goes. On the Lewis molding side of things, yeah, we've spoken to a couple of the other groups, and we're willing to. It's a small world. We're willing to work with however this shakes out.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an interesting dynamic. It's something that's very fluid right now.
Do you think the new setup is going to be possibly beneficial compared to how it was before when it was privately owned? Or do you see it being
For Lewis Moldings or in general?
in general?
In general, I don't think it's going to be all that great for the province.
What about Lewis Moldings?
I would suggest it's probably going to have some challenges.
Where are you getting your other 50% of your wood now?
It comes from private.
Okay,
It's
so
probably
you're able to
bottom.
make do, it's not, you're not laying people off or anything due to lack of supply?
No, but that's definitely, depending on how this goes, that's definitely in the cards. Just simply from the basis that supply of raw material is crucial. Those lands, it's just phenomenal the pine that those lands hold, and it's just unreal.
Have you been, how do you find the level of communication with the department?
The department's been great. The department's been fantastic. They've really risen to the occasion as far as all the challenges that have been thrown at them. It's one of the challenges, I guess the reason that I speak with so much apprehension is that you can't, one, it's an election year. So that doesn't bode well for organizations that need to access fiber and need to access it soon. I mean, we literally were getting 50% of our supply from those lands up until basically the end of June last year, or whenever they pulled the plug, and then immediately it was gone. So, you know, it's just very.
Don't be so worried about election years. I find actually things tend to look a little quicker in election years. In my experience, you want to look useful.
The problem with this is just that it's such a deep subject.
It's not something that can be dealt with.
I think some of your staff can educate you better on what the history has been for Crown land use in the province. And unfortunately, history isn't a great signal of what we can expect as positive to come. So that's why the apprehension, and that's why I'm asking that you just consider all the groups that are in play.
I think that's it. Any other questions? Deputy Warden?
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, like, you've been talking to some of the other groups. So you've got a group right now of 7. Is that group willing to expand?
Yeah, most definitely. We don't see ourselves as, this is our own guys in the game at all. In fact, one of the components of our group is that there's the AAC, the annual allowable cut off of any land that's determined by, in this case, would be determined by Forest Stewardship Council regulations. And one of the things that we have built into our sort of founding principles, is that we would take that AAC and right off the top we'd take 10 or 15%, so that's for new business. So that's just to go out to whoever, at one time Lewis Moldings couldn't buy pine from Coldwater because they didn't want to deal with us, we were so small. And now, that has changed over 10 years. Well, we want to make sure that if somebody like Lewis Moldings comes along and has, a business case and is paying the bills, so to speak, we can funnel some fiber off to them so that they can get their foot going and start building this. Businesses don't last forever, and we need to make sure that new businesses are coming up in the area to foster economic growth.
Also, just to educate us on how this works, with Crown land, like if you were to have management of it, would you have to have a management plan on sustainability of the forest and cut, cut according to that?
Oh yeah.
And then also, you hire contractors to go cut it, is that correct? Or would you have your own cutters?
No, there's, like I said, we would form an entity. What our hope and desire would be take advantage of that pool of resources of the people that no longer are working for Resolute, that could bring back to the fold and sort of pick up where they left off. Mm-hmm. And that's mainly in the forest technician part of things, the guys laying out the blocks, the guys doing the ACs, those kind of things. And then they would be an arm's length entity from this group, because we don't particularly want that crisscross a lot. And so their job would be to go out, manage the lands appropriately to the FSC standards, and to market the timber at the right rates.
Do you have any idea yet at this stage how many jobs this would, how many new jobs this would create?
No, that's a wide open question. What I can tell you is that as a small company or as a medium-sized company, and for any of us in the forest industry, stability of supply is the greatest limitation to investment. Mm-hmm. And so if you want to, it's no different than any business. If you want to invest in your company, if you want to grow your company, you want to make sure that you can continue to get raw material. And so for Lewis Moldings right now, we would say we don't want anything to do with trying to grow in Nova Scotia, because we very well may not have enough pine to continue to grow. In fact, right now we're bringing stuff in from Quebec to try to make up deficiencies. So, in the future, if they get this right, if we're able to get this right, I think it really does a lot for Southern Nova Scotia in that regard.
David?
One last question. Who's taking the lead on this? Are you?
No, there's different. All of us as a part of the group are in on it. We have a forester that we work with that is sort of taking the primary lead in organizing things.
Do you have their contact?
Yeah.
Because I would like to know one of those.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have your card?
Anything like, I got anything like this, I'll grab it.
Is there any other questions? I really appreciate, Jamie, that you took the time to come in and talk to us. Anytime that we learn something, it was a very interesting topic, but we also, or I learned, because, you know, we don't always know.
And that's-
That's what I really appreciate. Please keep us updated as much as you can, you know, within, I understand, but if you can update us, and if we have questions for you, we can also back to you.
And that was my main purpose, was just so I could be a resource for you. 'Cause I was gonna hear more and more about it as the days go by.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, thank you very, very much.
Thank you, council. Thank you.
I'll start carrying these right now.
Yes, you should. Okay. The next is the minutes of our council meeting of January 28th. Is there any errors or amendments? And there was one under me, and I can't find it. It said nativity.
I wondered what that was.
Instead of, yeah. And it wasn't, the word was not nativity, and I'm trying to find it again.
Then you
Found it Friday night.
Then you had a whole week to find it.
Friday night I found it.
We should have marked it.
I don't know how to mark it.
I took all your pens.
With a pencil, a pen and pencil, the old one, the old style.
On my computer?
No, I'm marking on a little tablet.
I use white.
Oh, I never.
Oh, you never thought of it.
No.
That's okay.
Ah,
So we used to do
that-
things in the old
That's
days.
the only thing. There is a word there that says nativity. Nativity.
I saw it too.
It was
It's
under
supposed to
where
be
I was talking.
navigation, That's interesting.
Not enough nativity scenes.
Yeah, so it was probably Christmas.
Why didn't something like that?
Maybe we'll find it.
Okay,
Yes.
that's the
It's a
only
test.
Well, her and Wendell were gonna be
Right.
activities together.
Yeah,
That's the test.
I was gonna be the
Jesus,
Virgin
yeah.
Mary. Connor. Okay,
All right.
so would someone like to approve the minutes as amended?
So moved.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Business arising from the minutes or old business, Councilor Manzo,
No.
Councilor Tudor,
No.
Councilor Evans,
No.
back up, Councilor Tudor.
Hear anything else about the possibility, trying to find information so I can make a correlation between hospitals that have difficulty attracting doctors and the hourly wage? Have you heard anything back from that?
Well, he was supposed to have sent that out, but since you haven't got it, something happened in his home, so I will go through the secretary.
But find out from the second person.
Because I know he's off all weekend.
Okay.
But I had emailed him, he had emailed me that Dr. Casella would finish
And
up what he did.
Mr. Makrovich for the second meeting with the municipality and the councilors. There's several things I'd like to speak to him about in regards to infrastructure. For example, the cars, there's nowhere for the cars to line up.
Mhm.
And they're blocking off half the road, and I've already, before this, I used to get complaints from truckers that it was dangerous to even make that turn, as you know, from Prosper side. Has he got back to you as well?
No, he hasn't, and I guess we've got to follow up on that as well.
I didn't contact him. Did I give you the email?
Yeah.
So he was gonna respond. Do you want me to follow up?
Please,
Just if you could send me a copy of the email you sent.
Yep. Jimmy?
In regards to the, having a meeting of all the units that are having issues over the fees that doctors are paid in the hospitals, I would think that probably it would be appropriate to take that to the next rural caucus meeting, because that's something that you're gonna cover all the rural from the whole province, rather than just trying to look at Western Nova Scotia. And, they didn't have.
Yeah, I was.
We are asking for the whole problem.
Yeah.
Right, but it's gonna be hard to get units from Inverness and everywhere just to come to Digby for a meeting.
Maybe we could have the meeting.
That's my point of trying to.
Oh,
Right
okay,
there.
yes.
So I think the discussion should take place
And
at a
we'll
rural
talk
caucus
to
meeting.
you.
And actually,
I think that's a very good idea.
there's one set up for this Friday, they canceled last week.
They did get, I haven't.
Was it a rural caucus meeting?
And I don't know for sure if it's this week, but But actually, I think what would be more appropriate, rather than even having that at a rural caucus meeting, the spring workshop's coming up in April, and it would be appropriate to do it at that time, because then you're gonna have units from towns and rurals coming in all under one roof.
Yeah.
So it's probably
Have we
appropriate.
heard when that is?
It's in April. It's in Yarmouth in April, I think.
Spring workshop.
I'll just write it on the
18th
top of my
spring
agenda,
conference.
spring
The
workshop.
18th, I believe.
18th
Spring
and
Youth
19th?
Conference.
I don't know the date, it off the top of my head.
I've been trying to find it, but that's the date, the only date I can find.
Huh?
Where is it? Yarmouth, is it?
Thought it was in Yarmouth, but it's not, it's in Truro.
No, I think it's in Yarmouth.
I thought it
Well,
was
that's the same day as our CEO and CAO forum that we're going to.
And we're gonna be in Halifax, aren't we?
We're at the Silver Summit, and then we,
No,
Lynn and I,
it's the 12th to the 14th, it's
I
the
don't know.
workshop, and it's in Yarmouth at the Grand.
12th to the 14th?
Yeah. So I think what we should do is write a letter to the UNSM, and you'd like to have this discussed somehow, like,
Well, we haven't even got the numbers yet, but I think the numbers
have a
are,
discussion, like, to even raise an awareness piece.
I would like to try to get all the information, so when I show up, because I feel like.
Between now and then, you may have that, right?
Yeah, okay.
okay,
I'm just thinking if you're trying to.
Yeah,
keep
we
track
are-
of
He said it's a really good idea.
it,
We'll get them all together in one room without any,
so we
yeah,
will have this information definitely for our committee of the whole, that you can pass on.
okay.
You will have it.
Can you
All
register?
right, we can always, it need no hassle, you can wear a pirate hat.
Can't wear your pirate hat. Okay. Counselor Adams, did you have any old business?
No.
Deputy Warden McAlpine?
The only old business I wanna ask is, have we heard anything back from, in regards to the sidewalk, or the proposed sidewalk issue on Pleasant Street?
Not as yet, I'm waiting to get some information from, Department of Transportation on whether or not they would allow us to do widening of the shoulder with asphalt. So that's one of the reasons we're sort of waiting. Hilton and Simone have put some numbers together. I've had a couple meetings with Doug Simone, but I haven't had anything formally in writing yet.
Okay. Also, I wanted to add too to that, that when, we attended the sustainability conference in Windsor, mobility outside of automobiles is really important, be it for walking or bicycling, and I really see the value and importance of having the means for people to move, and sidewalks is the only safe way you can do that. So, in particular, in a situation where the residents inside you don't have the ability safely to go up, I think it's something that we need to really keep on top of, and hopefully we can resolve this by the spring
I
somehow.
hope so.
So,
It won't be, I can tell you now, as far as, I don't know about the asphalt widening, but to actually construct a sidewalk in that area, you're looking $70,000 or $80,000, just in our section.
I'm aware of that,
Not
but,
to mention,
yeah.
because you have the bridge there as
Yeah.
well, that's gotta be dealt with, so.
I know, but sometimes I like to think though that I don't wanna just look at the dollars, I wanna look at the safety, and we have to consider both. I mean, I know we have to be responsible how we spend our money, but we also have to take people's safety at hand too, so.
I thought about the same thing since we've had our last meeting with the town,
Yeah,
about if I was living there, would I want my kids walking along the side of the road on a paved shoulder, just, or in the wintertime? No, no, I wouldn't. But an elderly person in a wheelchair going up the side of the road, and, and I'm here and the cars are right there. To me, it wouldn't be acceptable. I would be for sidewalk, to be honest with you. I just, after the meeting thinking about it, I didn't think a good option to try and just widen for safety.
Mhm.
So,
Valid point. Anything else?
no, that would be all I have for old business.
Okay, and I have none. The next thing we're going to do is the wage check and letter of support. What has happened, there's been municipal contractors have been picking up medical waste. So when they talked to hospitals, they said, no, it's out of the hospital, so it's not medical waste anymore. Waste.
What?
Yeah, that's what they were told. In the hospital, it'd be medical waste. Out of the hospital, it's not medical waste.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Same stuff.
Oh, yeah. And the concern is there's been blood in some of these tubings and something opens and it's splattered with blood. You know, they just want a way to identify what can happen. There's a great concern. It was discussed quite in depth at our meeting, and they were asking for each one of us to write a letter. Now, I thought Waste Check was going to send a letter as well, just to show us what they were writing, but I never received anything. So,
I'll make a motion that we write a letter to raise this issue with the Minister of Environment and the Minister of Health, and to address the fact that the biomedical waste is being disposed of improperly, and that we would like to see what kind of standards the province is going to come forward with to handle this issue.
where's the second? Okay.
Can I discuss
Yeah,
this?
of course, we're not done.
Oh, sorry.
Did you have anything you wanted to ask as well? You,
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
just
you
went
look like
out of
you
my
were
room.
something.
So has this been going on for like a long time? Like that's just the normal thing? They throw it out in the garbage and garbage gets picked up?
mhm.
It's
See, they
shocking.
fixed it with the needles. Needles go into the container, the
In those
kids are taken
containers.
back to the drugstores. Or, you know, that has been a big help. But now, they still have people that maybe they're doing
I can't
their
imagine
kidney
that-
or dialysis.
Yeah.
There's home dialysis being done. Well, they're gonna discard it, they put it in the bag. You know, I mean, it's, we have,
I can't mention that health and environment haven't been on top of this before this.
What about occupational health and safety
Yeah,
is what I'm
like,
thinking.
well, it's been brought up because of the problem. So now it's being brought forward to the municipalities and the towns and Waste Check and all across the province.
I'd like to add to the motion also to send that to the Department of Labor,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
to the Minister of
Yep.
Labor.
Now, you wanted a question?
But no, I was just saying occupational health and safety,
Oh,
but,
okay.
right into the Minister of Labor, that's occupational health and
Yeah.
safety, am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Any other questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next is the Digby and Area Lions Club letter.
They're basically just asking for, to pass the word around of what they're doing.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
take it.
They are.
So there's not really any action there, is there?
No,
Okay.
it was,
A wedding.
Is that awareness?
the wedding,
Trade show.
the wedding trade show, they want to get out, to let people know that they are available and open all week. I will tell you that the comment my husband makes, he always buys his apples there. First of all, you know, they are pushing local apples, not that the other stores don't, but he said, you are helping because they have their apples and things. So,
You're talking about the farm market?
the farmer's market over by the Lions, the one that this letter's from, yeah, at the mall.
Yep.
Like he says, you know, like he brings home apples every week, that's where he gets them, because he says he's supporting the people in there.
And I buy their brown bread from one of the guys. It's the old fashioned, dark brown bread, weighs a ton.
The heavy?
Lift it up, put the
And
hammer
that's
carry.
there?
Yes, and he does rolls, she does rolls. There's usually a guy there, but it's a lady that does the cooking. It's really good.
See now.
I second that.
I'm a heavy brown
Every
bread.
brown bread person.
Yeah, I am, and it's hard to find.
Oh, it's really
It's
good.
usually, they have it white like
Yeah.
whole wheat.
Yep, not that one.
Oh, okay.
And usually it's only there, I'd say Friday and Saturdays. I don't know if she cooks it every day, she bakes it every day.
Okay. The next was the compact fluorescent light bulbs, and really, oh, yes,
How can I move that we send this to Waste Check and have it put on the agenda?
Actually, Amy Hilliard
is,
From Waste Check has already responded to
To
Mr.
this?
Harris, yeah.
Okay.
I was just gonna tell you what, we thought he wanted to do a presentation, or I thought, and then I sent it to Gordon to set it up. Well, Gordon thought the same as me, that he wanted to do a presentation, but he didn't. He wanted us to make sure we were knowledgeable about it.
Awareness.
So Gordon sent it to Amy, Amy sent it back, and it has been sent on to this person as well to let them know what's going on.
So what is going on?
So actually, in our region, within our region, there are two, what they call ball feeders.
Okay.
There's one that's located in the Yarmouth Salt Waste Park, and actually there's one at their transfer station.
But do these bulb beaters actually collect the mercury? I think that's what his concern was, that the mercury's not being disposed of properly,
Well, then he spoke, and I don't know if this is what she meant, she said the HEPA filters,
right?
when necessary, are disposed to the household hazardous waste depot,
Yeah,
to Malta.
but we don't know whether or not they're collecting the mercury during these bulb beaters.
There was
No.
no mention of the mercury level.
Well, I guess
so.
we can just raise it at the next time we have a waste check meeting.
We can send that, ask them to have it on the agenda.
Yeah, I'd like to still have a discussion. I'd like to know, is it how do they collect the mercury? Because basically, I think those are machines that they have in Clare and in Yarmouth, just basically smash up the bulbs so that all the stuff stays, together. But I don't know whether they extract the mercury out of it. I don't know. I'd like to find that out.
Yeah, that's what we wanted.
So when can we send that down, to ask them to have it on the agenda? Okay. Next is the Freeport Community Development Association request. I believe, and I'm gonna ask Linda, that they, would be, possibility that they would be eligible for our tax.
They are eligible for
Yeah.
our tax exemption moving forward, but the other request that is in there is that they want,
Yeah.
some of the back taxes waived as well,
And
which amounts to about $630.
what we can't do.
Okay.
We can write them off.
We can write them off. Is
Well,
that
we
within the
can.
policy?
I guess as a nonprofit, they didn't, and there was some issues with transferring of ownership.
I had a very hard time finding who owned it, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so it sort of got lost, and it came up when it was put on our tax sale, actually, so we removed it from our tax sale. It is a recreation facility, as a ball field, so I think we can just forgive
Oh, I didn't think we could.
for a nonprofit, because it is doing a recreation activity at the ball field.
It was very nice when we got taken on too. I know that organization. I don't recall them asking us for money in the last few years.
I mean, we can do it in terms of a grant,
Yeah.
so we can provide.
Well, that's how we would do it, it's a grant, okay. Jimmy?
I was
Deputy Warden?
gonna make a motion that we would
We
do that,
amend our-
that we would,
We'd have to amend our bylaw in order to provide them with tax exempt status.
okay, I'll
So
make a
instead we'll-
motion that we amend the bylaw to provide the Freeport Development Association the ability to have tax exemption on the ball field property.
And provide a grant in the amount
Provide a
of the.
grant.
No, that's two different motions.
Just keep.
They have to keep two.
Second that.
All right.
Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carries. The second one,
I'd like to make a motion to provide a grant in the amount of $631 for the back taxes.
no,
A
just a
grant
grant.
in lieu of,
No,
Grant.
just
A grant
a
for the back
grant.
taxes.
No, just say a grant for,
a grant for $631.
whatever the amount is, for the Freeport Community Development Association. You can't say.
Don't know what to use it for.
You can't put it in a motion like you just said you give them a grant, you can't suddenly say,
Here's a grant, but you have to put it on this.
They'll know.
They'll know.
No, all right.
Is there a
Just comes down.
seconder to that motion? Sure. Any discussion on this motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next is from the Office of the Mayor, District of Lunenburg. He's talking about quotas here, if I remember rightly. And it's, of course, the concern is about quotas. So, Dave, you wanted to speak to this?
Yeah, the quota system is very much benefits the investor class in regards to fisheries, which makes sense in, traditional economics. You pay the workers as little as possible, maximize return on investment, you provide the fish, the lobster will go down 4 cents a pound, and the world's a better place. However, as far as practical reality is concerned, the large companies buy up the quota, and it eliminates all these small businesses, which are absolutely vital for small communities. And we all know services become more and more inefficient as these communities die off and move away, and their economic basis is undermined. So in the long run, I don't think there's any economic argument, the short version of it. And I do not agree whatsoever with a quota system, in particular, because in my area of the province is where the largest catches are made in the province, our area, and the price of the licenses that they've already paid reflects that. So if anyone's going to be catching a lot less fish, a lot less lobster, it'd probably be us, if there is a quota instituted, and that would provide undue hardship upon the fishermen, in my opinion. And I would very much support this letter.
Deputy Warden?
I'd like to make a motion that our council through you also writes a letter to Minister Ashfield expressing their concerns on any changes to well, not changes to, but to ensure that there are no changes to the regulations pertaining to the lobster industry, that the lobster quota option would not be a viable option for the lobster industry. We currently have around 1,900 independent businesses, which is each boat is a business, and that it also.
That's not, is that all part of your motion?
No.
No.
I'll stop.
I do it too.
Okay, so I was gonna ask you, can you repeat your motion of what you wish?
I'll just ask that, my motion is that we write a letter to Minister Ashfield expressing our concerns if they were to consider a lobster quota. We do not feel that it would be healthy for the lobster industry.
If you want some content, I can also.
And then we would CC, also, we would CC our MP.
Mhm. Is there a seconder to that motion?
I'd like to second that.
And we would like you to. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried.
If you want any context or like arguments within that letter,
We speak to Linda.
I can.
All right, the next is from the SPCA. I made sure this was under new business. I am very, very concerned that the government is taking away some funding that investigates abuse and cruelty to animals.
They're not taking away funding. They've been asked to fund $100,000. They didn't take it away, they didn't have it. So, when I read it, so it's I saw that more as an information piece than I did for business, because I don't know how, we can't tell the government how to fund things. They're not taken away from the SPCA. The SPCA put a request in for $100,000. And so, even though, I don't want to see the SPCA stop that service, the province currently has not been funding it.
But they did
Well,
previous years, didn't
they
they?
have imposed an interim suspension of the enforcement program.
That's SPCA
Effective,
themselves.
yeah, right.
Because they didn't
Effective
receive,
April 1st.
because they didn't receive the $100,000 that they requested
Yeah.
from the province.
For funding.
They didn't have that money. They didn't.
No, but didn't they have it previous years?
Yes, they did.
They couldn't have done, they only allowed $3,000 for,
Nope.
Now, it says here last fall,
Last fall,
SPCA
yeah.
made a request for $100,000 annually as a stopgap measure to preserve the SPCA's enforcement program, and this request was declined.
yeah, but here it says but only receives $3,000 from the Department of Agriculture each year to do this animal cruelty thing. Well, they can't do it for 3,000, they must have had other money
They,
other
they had
years.
to fundraise,
Did they?
yeah, they were receiving very little
Oh,
money from the
so they
province.
never-
They had to fundraise and do it on their own.
Oh.
Yeah, so, like,
I really think that I'd like to see us write a letter saying that we feel that it's important for the government to look at any ways possible. We're not telling them to do it, but we're saying, you know, I think there's enough cruelty and abuse in this province. I don't want to be like Quebec. I'm sorry, theirs is the worst in Canada, is what I've been told. Whether it's true or not, but
can I rephrase that then? Can we write a letter requesting, more information on, why this program, is not, why the province has not, considered the request from the SPCA for the funding of this program?
I have no problem, I
Just
can't.
ask for information?
Okay, and is there a second?
Oh, well, can I discuss?
You get a second?
You get a second?
I'll second it and then
Yeah, I'll
discuss.
discuss.
Maybe you could frame it as, we have an issue of concern in the lack of enforcement, reflected in blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? It's an issue of concern that there's a lack of enforcement for the SPCA investigation of, animal abuse cases. And we do have an area that, fairly or unfairly, is frequently identified as a problem with pets and you know, puppy farms and all that. It's of particular concern, I think, that program, the SPCA, and they are enforcing laws, provincial laws. It's not like they're enforcing their own. And as such, if you do have an organization enforcing laws, you think there would be a certain level of moral responsibility to pay for that enforcement.
Well, I was talking to Connie Songe, who happens to be the CAO in Clare, and she sometimes helps feed the feral animals on the Pagan Wharf. And here, a while ago, she found 2 small kittens that were not feral. They were little pets that were thrown. She said they'd have been dead if she hadn't taken them by morning. They were so cold and wet and hungry. And she said, you know, they were running at you. You know, you knew they weren't feral kittens. You know, she said they were so little. I mean, that's stuff that the SPCA does try to stop. Is it ever going to get a doggone? I'm sure not. There's stupid, ignorant people all over the world.
Your letter coming back is probably gonna say the RCMP and Department of Agriculture has been handed that
jeez.
job. I mean, that's in the letter, they've been handed the job. So.
For the RCMP,
They're covered.
for the RCMP, this guy got in a fight or something. No, he dropped by someone's house that they had a peace bond on before Christmas, and last week they came down and informed him that he broke the law.
Well, that was good.
Yeah, that many months
It's
later.
only a couple
They
months.
don't have time. They don't have time for this. They don't have time for. They don't seem to have time for anything, let alone this.
It's not gonna get done.
It's
I
not
really
realistic.
appreciate the support. Yes, Nancy.
I guess I don't know if you saw, but they actually interviewed the Minister Martinel on television about this, and his comment was that the SPCA has quite a bit of money in their coffers, and this is why the government didn't give them $100,000. This is what he said, didn't give them the
Maybe they do.
$100,000 that they asked for.
That's why I'm asking for information.
And I have no problem.
And the motion would be to ask for information as to why the province, decided
Yeah,
not.
I wanna know why
not-
they're
not-
denying.
Well, I certainly hope the SPCA isn't playing politics with the issue.
I don't
They didn't get their money, now they're gonna
I don't
try to
think
lay
so.
pressure before the election.
We've had organizations at budget time that's had requesting for us to funds in the past that we didn't fund because they didn't have
yeah.
sufficient money.
Yeah, that's true.
My point is we will ask
We will check.
the motion is to ask the province
Yep.
the reasons behind not supporting this type of a program.
And we have it seconded, so all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next is to my favorite minister, letter to Minister McAnell.
I think those 2 items are
Oh,
the
sorry,
same.
that was together,
Yeah,
that's right.
They should have gone online.
The next is the municipal council training.
This is the treat you're referring to?
No,
No.
this is a provincial, at the time when the new council orientation was conducted, there was some discussion that it would be probably beneficial for existing councillors who probably haven't had some training in a number of years to participate. So the province has set up some training workshops to talk about financial and legal framework, budgeting, understanding municipal finance statements and roles and responsibilities. Most of this workshop does center around financial and budgeting and auditing procedures. So if anyone wishes to attend, I know there is one in Yarmouth, I believe,
On
on
Friday.
Friday 15th.
I can't understand why our end has to be during the week and other ends can be on a Saturday. I want my Saturday.
You have to go to Liverpool then.
Sure.
Could you still do that?
Yeah.
I have a question. I'd like to go with that. I'd like to go to that.
I would too.
So I think we all are.
Well, you have,
But you have choices. There is a form.
there's a form that you have,
Sorry, that's okay. I was gonna say there is a form there. If you wanted to take it, I hope I'm saying it's okay to Karen. As long as you filled out your form and handed it to her with where you wanna go, she will deal with it for you, or you can do it yourself, whichever you wanna do. But I don't wanna hear after, I thought Karen was gonna do it. No, no. If you don't take it to her, you don't do it yourself, I don't wanna hear one word. Is that understood by all?
Yes.
Yes.
I can't believe why you look at me for.
I
That's
didn't look at
totally
you.
unreasonable.
I looked at everybody.
and I
Here I
was,
wanna go.
Look at me.
You're new.
and I would suggest doing it before the end of the week, because they'll probably fill out fairly quickly.
Do I have to print this form off, or can I just tell
No, we just
Karen,
tell her, yeah.
please?
If you go and write it on a piece of paper and hand it to her
Just
before
email
she leaves,
Karen.
or email
when you
her.
want
I'll
to.
do it right now.
Okay.
So are you going to Yarmouth?
It's a Friday, I will probably, and it's March break, and it's really hard for me to get time.
Oh,
off
it is
for
March break, isn't it?
Ah,
So I want the 16th, I will go to Liverpool
me too.
Which one's that?
the
I
Saturday.
asked for the
Maybe the other
job.
3 weeks or
16.
something. I think March, I can work.
I asked for this
It
trouble.
would be fun.
Oh, yeah. I'll talk to you after.
Okay.
I'll need to drive, whatever.
You can drive with me,
Yeah, you know, I'll have to drive.
okay? No problem.
Okay.
All right, next, I apologize. Is the senior secretary request for $13,000. David Tudor would like to speak to this.
It's the operating, last year it was 12,500 and oh, wait a minute, your motion occurred. Yeah, it's for the operating our half of the budget.
I just want to move to our budget process. Make a motion to
Okay.
defer to budget.
And I second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
That was nice.
Okay, I just knew that David wanted to speak.
Yeah.
He always wants to speak, that's the problem, isn't
The next are, the ships are here. I have some certification.
it? Ships are here.
What's
I,
that?
this is the ships are here,
Ships are here.
but I believe the tag phrase is ships start here.
Yeah,
Oh,
on the decks.
ISO certification, I am thinking that we have nothing really organized to see if we can insert ourselves into the supply chain for the $25 billion project. And I'm hoping that maybe we could get the industrial commission to take a look at it and maybe identify any local companies in the region that could possibly take advantage of this. If we can even get our toe in a little bit, it would be, I think, very beneficial. Linda,
I think Deputy Warden's gonna say what I'm.
thinking?
This is something that the RDA has already been addressing. And when I was reading the minutes for this week, the package, it's in there. And you're sitting on the RDA currently until it's gone.
Yeah.
And I'd raise it at that level and find out where they are with it, because they are doing that work right now.
It's one of the projects that.
They're pretty much going to be going soon.
No, but they're doing the work now.
Oh, I see your concern because, yeah,
Oh.
but what David is trying to say is he was concerned this was going.
So that's something that could be a strategic priority of the new.
Of the new RAN.
Do we want, is it possible to start working on it in the meantime before this run gets set up? Because we don't even entirely sure when the run's gonna set up.
The industrial commission doesn't have staff, so we don't have people that are gonna be able to go out there and go out door to door knocking on the business. That's what the REN or the RDA's role is. So I see that, you know, I support what you're saying and what you're trying to see happen, but I see the mechanism to do it through the RDA up until they're gone, and then something that the REN could look at taking
I just
on.
heard that in a practical sense, the RDA is, you know, it's winding up. It's not gonna be, is it sending staff around for this purpose now?
They're still,
working.
they're still working on the business plan to March 31st. Any wind-up activities are gonna be done from April 1st to June 30th. So I think part of the project that the RDA is working on is actually contacting businesses that may be able to provide service to, with the Ship Start Here program or whatever it is, to make sure that they start getting up and running and have the necessary manpower and expertise to be able to take advantage of that program. So I think if you look into the RDA and see exactly what they've been doing, but I think it's something that, Debbie Williams is correct, the Industrial Commission does not have staff of economic development officers.
I was just wondering what would be the fit for it, because.
The REN. And
yeah,
it's, I think time is not of an essence.
it is a 25 day. I'm
With
always,
with
tomorrow, I am bad for that.
I mean, with this Ship Start Here, I mean, I don't think it's something that's starting here tomorrow or even in the next 6 months. So I think we have time.
My concern was that maybe ISO certification might take a couple of years, or, you know, all those sorts of concerns.
I'm not sure. Did we have anything written about this? Or?
No, but last week when the economic panel was here, Irene Dontamont made a comment about the fact that any businesses that are interested in taking advantage of the SHIP contract have to register and get their ISO in place. So, but I believe the RDA is already working on this. So I think the prudent thing to do would be to find out. You're already
Tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Well, then you could raise it at that time to find out and get more information on it.
Not the evening meeting's not tomorrow at 4, is it?
It's Wednesday.
At 4, yeah, I'm getting today mixed up with Tuesday again.
It's
Yeah.
Wednesday at 4 o'clock.
Okay, I'll bring it up then,
Conference call.
yeah.
But right now, the only issue is on the agenda is the wind-up committee. So if you want, I can,
Toss that onto the agenda?
or I can get Liz to call you and give you an update on what's going
Yeah,
on.
maybe that would be best. That would be best. I'm brand new to Vida. I got there just in time to see it go. So, I'll check this out. Yeah, I talked to a couple people before about this, but nobody had mentioned that little part, so. It's just something I'm always, hey, there's all kinds of money, let's see what we can do.
Okay. Now, the next is the committee. Mayor Cleveland asked me if we would look at forming a joint committee. He'd have 2 of his counselors and 2 of ours. Wanted to see ways we could work together in a shared service. We already know the ones we are, and he said they definitely, the committee lists those, so that we know where we are. And then find ways that, you know, like he says, the town has had great benefit of Terry. You know, I mean.
But they don't pay 1 cent for Terry.
I'm not saying that, but, you know, that was a comment, so we need to look at. So what I wanted to ask, who would be interested in serving? We have 1 counselor that I feel is not on enough committees.
I said that to you earlier.
Yes, that's right.
That was my argument to be on it. You stole one of my committees from me.
Okay, so what I've heard is Deputy Warden and David Tudor, Councilor David Tudor are both interested. So, could I have someone move that? Oh, yes?
I brought this up a while back when we were talking about strategic planning, because I talked to a couple of councillors in the town.
Oh, okay.
Remember I said we should have them perhaps for an hour or so and have this discussion?
Yes, you did, Marissa.
That's right. And so, I know that it's on our agenda, is it not, to talk about, Linda, is it not on the agenda?
On the retreat, council
Yeah.
retreat? I don't think specifically it is, but
Well, I
certainly
thought we were-
anything that, you know, you wanna see as a priority, can you discuss what the,
Well, now that they're forming a committee, so.
I'm not too sure what you mean with that.
We were gonna have a discussion at the retreat along these lines about
So you
our
think we
shared.
shouldn't do it now?
No, I'm just saying this was, it's
We
gonna be
can still
done-
discuss it
But
at
still.
the retreat.
Which is this
Talk
week,
about
so
it.
you'll
Yeah.
have
Maybe
lots
share.
to go ahead with to the committee.
You'd have to be more than,
I'd like to have it changed so that we can have 3 people from each council. If Councilor Adams is interested in sitting on it as well, there's nothing to say that we can't have 3
Oh,
from the
God,
town,
yes.
from the county.
we'll just let him know that there's 3 and they can have 2.
Oh, that sounds good.
You can have 3 too, but the fact
Well,
is,
if they only want 2, I'm not gonna argue with the town, Judy. I have learned, sometimes they like 3 and we have 2.
anyway,
You know,
I'm just
it's
saying, if
okay.
there's 3 people interested in sitting on it, I see that there's no reason why there can't be flexibility in it, that they would have 3.
Yes.
I see a lot of value and benefit in the shared service agreements, and I do think that there's room for some more, so.
Okay. George, would you like to make this motion?
Yes, I'll move that we select 3 members to sit on the joint council.
Which are,
Joint committee.
which are,
Deputy Warden, Mark Adams, and Dave Key.
and I need a seconder from one of you 3.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. What I will need is Linda to find out from Tom when they'd like to start the meetings, and he wanted us to get back to him. And I'm assuming it would go through Tom, not Ben. I could be wrong, but if Ben brought it up, I just assumed.
Ben brought it to you.
Right, Ben came to me. So I'm assuming now that
Okay,
it goes back. Yeah. And the next and the last is the hospital award.
Yes, I wanted to bring this forward tonight. I feel it's very important that when an award is received by the hospital, that we should acknowledge that and send them a letter, recognizing the work they've done to receive this award. And I was reading I believe the Clare Shoppers where I got this, and there was a nice picture in there with Hubert Dontamont, the site manager, receiving the award on behalf of the hospital. It's the Lieutenant Governor's Persons with Disabilities Employer Partnership Award. So I'd like to see that a letter goes off to them, congratulating them for receiving that.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. All right. The next is the CAO report. We're just trucking right along here. The first thing we see is the decision request, which I didn't really see much except the hold off on that, which we will wait on that. I said the only really request I had, a decision was to hold off on one of our motions there. It's a decision request from me.
Yeah, well, it's not my report, though.
No,
When it comes on to the agenda.
yeah, but I'm just saying that's the only thing. The next is the meeting dates, February 26th, BABC, which I will be attending. The next is the February 27th at 2 p.m., the industrial committee,
Excuse me.
which California and Grace will be attending. February 27th to March 1st is a council retreat, and everybody will be attending unless they drop dead.
Or a fire appointment.
I thought dropping dead was a good one. Yes.
In regards to that, I was reading Joan Lambert's email that she sent out to us, and she wanted us to bring a copy of something you gave us back in December. Can you see that we over?
No.
That was the one.
I gave it to you last bylaw policy meeting.
Oh, well, I wasn't there.
I
Yeah,
don't
he was in
recall.
Halifax,
What
he
was
called
it?
in that night, we were.
Can I
doing
get a
it.
copy of it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll give you my copy.
I can't remember what that was.
It was all,
It was a summary of all the
Yeah,
outstanding action
it's the one
items.
that went with this, so I've just got to go in my office and find a summary.
All right.
It's not
Just,
in
I don't remember.
it is the-
I got mine with
change
me.
there.
You want a copy?
there.
The next is on March 5th at 1 p.m. is the REN meeting, Jimmy, Yarmouth Town Hall.
Yeah.
March 5th, Weymouth Dr. Recruiting, Manzer and Gregory, Weymouth Health Clinic. March 11th, 6 p.m., Committee of the Whole, full council. March 12th, Planning Advisory Committee, Gregory, Adams, and Tudor. March 13th, 6 p.m., the Highway Task Force, Gregory and Adams, that will be at the Wayland Library. March 18th, 6 p.m., Bylaw and Policy. March 25th, 6 p.m., Council. March 28th, 6 p.m., Digby Source Water Protection, Adams. Then the next was the updates. Any questions or concerns? The next is the payables. Would someone like to move the amount of payables?
I move, I'm going back page, right? I move for payables, $861,994.99 for January 2013.
Is there a seconder?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. In the financial report.
I just wanted to, in the updates, you all would have received it by now, the notification that our ComFit application was
Is
approved.
accepted,
Been
yeah.
approved.
Yay.
And congratulations to Terry for.
And then Harry sent the reply back to everybody.
Yeah. And I mean, that's just, when you actually read the letter, there is quite a lot of lists of, you are approved, but you need to do this, there's a number of steps, so some of the work is just starting, but I think the biggest hurdle was actually getting that signed, the approval signed by the minister, so that we can get into the queue for the work that Nova Scotia Power has to do beginning March 15th. So that's a huge step.
Big step.
I think Terry said it was the first one,
In the
first
province.
generator in the province and the first generator using mink waste
In the world.
in the world.
Really?
I have a question. How much of the mink waste is going there currently with the plant? Any idea? A percentage?
I'm not sure that our anaerobic digester is up and running.
I mean, what was forecasted?
I can't answer that off the top of my head.
I'll have to ask. I'm curious. That's something definitely to speak about at the retreat. I have thoughts.
Okay, correspondence was the Scottish Conservative Party introduces new energy policies amidst the March of the Buffer Zone. Town of Yarmouth letter. The 2012-13 equalization grant revised January 2013 and feed Nova Scotia. Next, on the Committee of the Whole, it has been recommended that we table the negotiated sale of the Burns Hill Conference property to our next Committee of the Whole meeting, I guess.
Do you make a motion to table it? I'd like to make a motion to table the negotiated sale of the Burns Hills religious property until the next meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried.
Is that not coming, is that the email we got about the,
We haven't got any details.
We just don't know.
yeah.
I'm gonna skip the next one, because it's not 7:30 yet.
And we can do it after the meeting.
Next is advisory committees. Digby Source Water Protection Advisory Committee, Councillor Adams.
Oh, sorry. We've had a couple of meetings postponed, but we're meeting towards the end of the month.
Okay. Heritage Advisory Committee,
There hasn't been a meeting since the last.
Yeah, it hasn't been one since last January.
okay. Planning Advisory Committee,
There's been some cancellations with that, but our next one's coming up on the 12th of March.
that was birthday. Committee, Police Advisory Committee, our next meeting is scheduled for April the 16th. The problem is that's gonna have to be changed, because we are at the,
Oh, right.
so that meeting needs to be changed. Do you wanna put that in the minutes, just, you know,
Have we heard any more back from the town if there's an interest to have a joint police advisory?
Yes, well, I have not heard anything official yet.
Unofficially?
Unofficially,
There's-
yes,
it's all-
vendors,
Okay,
unofficially.
okay, thank you. So that'll be another joint service.
Yes.
Shared service.
Setting a record, must be.
We already have.
Well, excellent.
Yeah. Remo Advisory Committee, Warden Gregory and Deputy Warden McAlpine. Our last meeting was canceled due to ill health. The next is the Western Region Housing Authority, R. Fitzgerald. That's up to date.
Yeah, was he accepted to go back on that again, because the department head was not.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything back from him. I
Yeah.
contacted him. I'll follow up.
Okay. Age-Friendly Community Planning Committee, Counselor Adams.
There's a presentation tomorrow of some of the municipalities that are involved in phase two, like a couple of things ago, so. I think Don Thomas is going, and I'm not sure who else is going from our committee. And we haven't met since before Christmas, have we? No, haven't met since Christmas. I don't think there's a date set, is there?
No.
No.
Okay. Airport Working Committee, Deputy Warden McAlpine, Counselor Adams.
There hasn't been a meeting since the last council.
Could I add that we did put out a request for expression of interest and had no new applications for it, and 2 of the 3 have reoffered. I haven't had a chance to get back to formally put that forward for council to review, but that's the status of that group right now.
Okay. The next is the Annapolis Digby Economic Development Agency, Counselor Tudor, alternate Counselor Adams.
As they said, we're winding down. And we have a meeting tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. Gotta get that straight at 4 o'clock via teleconference.
Okay.
Wednesday after tomorrow. Why, the ABC and the DB are having a hard time with the entity on Wednesday. Go figure.
That's all right.
You got stuff written on my hand now.
The next is the Bay of Fundy Marine Transportation Association. We had a meeting in February. We are been discussing the weekend Labor Day schedule. The fish buyers are all in agreement with it, the processors and everything. They're trying to work it so that more will work with the Wharf Rat Rally, so they can go back and forth. We have a meeting coming up. I will not be able to attend because it's on the 28th of February, and I'm at our meeting. The next is the Digby Annapolis Development Court, Deputy Warden McAlpine, Counselor Tudor.
We've met in regards to property, and there's another meeting tomorrow. And that's all I can give an update on that right now.
The warden may be taking my place to another commitment.
The next is the Digby Area Learning Association, Counselor Manzer.
We have a meeting Wednesday, and we haven't had any meetings since, and we had one in January, and then we had a presentation since then about the move to the shopping mall, so there's been nothing new since then.
And you are sending the minutes on to Karen as you get them?
I haven't been.
Please.
Am I supposed to?
You are supposed to.
I will do it then.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there just not somebody?
Digby Area Tourism Association, Counselor Manzer.
Not since last, no, not last month.
Okay. Digby Area Recreation Commission, Warden Gregory, Counselor Manzer. We had a meeting, everything is really quite well. We have picked, but we do not give out this information yet, but the 2 people that have been picked for the provincial town and provincial municipal. But until they're notified in our place, April 15th will be the provincial award ceremony. So it was a quick meeting.
Yeah. 12
12
minutes.
Staff report?
Yeah, that's funny that they didn't. Oh, we just had a meeting Wednesday night. That's why they're not here.
Was last week.
Approved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, They- yeah, they will come out. And Thursday, I was leaving for so they didn't get sent out.
Even if you just forward the package,
Well, I usually do.
just forward the package to Karen, and they'll have everything.
Yeah, that's the norm. I'm very good at usually sending it on, aren't I, Karen?
Me too, right, Karen?
The next is the Digby Harbor Port Association. You saw the minutes of January. Their meeting is tonight, which I am missing, and they are going to be looking at the damage that was done and what's going to be happening there, and also on the breakwater.
I'm assuming their meetings are not usually Monday.
No, they're usually Thursday, but it was just that the tender ended tonight, so they wanted to do it tonight. No, that's not the norm. The next is the Digby Library Committee.
Once again, no meeting. It only meets about once a year.
Okay. Digby Municipal Fire Department, Councilor Manzer.
No meeting, no. Not in the last month anyway. None I had contact with.
Yeah, enjoy that.
Industrial Commission, Warden Gregory, Deputy Warden McAlpine.
We're meeting this Wednesday. Since the last meeting, we had our final report on the site selection for the title, and myself and the mayor, along with Jeff Sutherland and Terry Thibodeau, went to meet with representatives from the Department of Energy and COA to present the report to them. And there's a very good support from the Department of Energy in regards to working with us. And I believe I'd like to recognize Terry for the work that he's been doing for us. I think he's doing a great job, not just with the project in Weymouth, but also with the title. I think it was one of the better moves we've made on having that position available in the municipality, and the work he's doing is going to take us forward in long ways with the renewables. But that's all.
Okay. At this point, it's just a little bit past 7:30. We are going to do the award presentation.
We're done right now, so I'm done that.
Do I have to debate anything?
I want to read something first.
Oh!
Got this nice fancy letter, I'm going to read it. But before I do, I want to recognize Linda for the work she's done for the municipality, but not just the municipality, also the community at large. Because Linda's been a volunteer in the municipality for quite a number of years, and I can't name off everything you've done, but I know you've done a lot, and I know you've been involved in the past with the Girl Guides and Boy Scouts, and through all the Red Cross, or
It was Red Cross.
Red Cross too, and like I said, I don't have a long list, but I know it would be long, but I want to congratulate you for the work you've done for the community. So I've got a letter here from David Johnson, who's the Governor General of Canada, and I'd like to read this. On behalf of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, I am pleased to award you the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Medal, created to mark the 60th anniversary of Her Majesty's accession to the throne. In granting you this honor, I thank you for your dedicated service to your peers, to your community, and to Canada. The contributions you have made to our nation are most commendable and deserve our praise and admiration. I wish to convey to you the heartfelt congratulations of your fellow Canadians, to which I add my own. So, at this time, Linda, I'd like to present to you the Governor General's Award.
Thank you so much.
And there's a letter.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Oh, I will. And guys, we will take a 15-minute recess. The next is medic. Counselor Tudor.
We're meeting on the 5th.
All right.
Last one was canceled. They didn't think there'd be possibility of a quorum, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they say. I'll have a few things to say, and they agreed to go. Although there's should be the election too for chairperson.
Mhm.
I'd spoken to Bob Haynes Spiker, and my belief that he'd make the best chairperson. And he said that, and also he mentioned how he thought that my plans were really good. So I think there's a nice little convergence there.
Very good. The next is
Bring them
completion
over.
of Highway 101 task force. It's Councilor Adams and myself. We have a meeting slated for March 13th. Next is the Senior Safety Committee, Deputy Warden McAlpine and Councilor Tudor.
Where Councilor Tudor's the chair, I'd like for him.
Yeah, we just had it, we went over the budgets. Is the pay issue public? Is that something?
No, it's just part of the budget process, and we put a request into the council for
That $30,000.
funding, so that'll be decided at our.
Yeah, I was just wondering if I should bring that up. All right, there's right there, the budget's going through, we're doing really well. Any specific questions from anybody? It was pretty basic. We went through, we have a couple of appointments running up fairly soon. One of the municipal appointee, I believe, is done this month.
Oh, have we?
She reapplied.
Yeah, she reapplied.
She's reapplied, but her term doesn't run out until mid-March.
Okay, I thought she said the end of this month.
Yeah.
Well, 2 weeks later. Yeah, it's going very well. Dawn, it certainly seems to have the full support and appreciation of the board. And it was my first chaired meeting. And other than the screaming match, it was fantastic. There's no screaming.
Can we get minutes? Oh, we
But did I send you the minutes?
No, we have nothing, just a newspaper.
Well, I didn't get minutes yet, I think. Did you get minutes?
Minutes from the last meeting.
Minutes that you approved at that meeting.
Okay.
We should be getting those. Every time you get a package, send it on to Karen.
Okay.
or whoever.
There it is.
Forward it.
It's just a budget, right?
Yeah, forward it on.
Okay. That's not it. It's just a budget.
Yeah, we forward all that.
Do I?
Yes, you
And we
do.
usually just include the minutes in the drainage.
But we
Staff
get,
reports.
we get to see it.
Okay.
Okay. The next is transport declare, Councilor Manzer.
They hadn't had a company meeting for maybe 3 or 4 months. Clarendon had some health problems and his mother has been not well either, so they just seemed to follow the time the meetings were scheduled. And they had a meeting on Thursday night, didn't have a quorum, so they just went over kind of non-important stuff, I guess. And I met with him today for a couple hours, and he kind of explained to me, like, from the beginnings of how he got started and, the workings up through. So we had a good couple hours, and so there's nothing else major going on.
Okay. The next is Ty Gutierrez, Deputy Warden McAlpine and Councilor Manzer.
No meeting, not since the last council meeting.
Oh, okay.
The meeting, we had a scheduled meeting and it was canceled because, I don't think we had a quorum. There wasn't gonna be a quorum.
No, we had a meeting. No, we had a meeting last where,
Did you meet?
yeah, where they had the appointment of the new member from
Okay. And then-
council.
I
You were in
wasn't there,
Halifax, I think.
And you can do the.
There wasn't anything major going, nothing
And
was,
again, minutes are to be sent on each time you get your package. And if it comes in hard paper only, please pass it on to Karen
Okay.
as soon as possible. Anything back, we'd like to have back since you started.
Perfect.
yeah, okay, I'll dig too much stuff, see what I
Yeah.
got. Uh-oh.
Yeah, sent them.
Next is Upper Clements Park Society, Councilor Adams. The minutes of January are included.
Yes, we met February the 21st, and the reason I didn't get the minutes in early enough is there was a mistake in them, and I wanted to bring that up that evening. And as soon as we have changed, amended them, I had her send them on to Karen, so that's why they're a little bit. The meeting the other night was discussing the budget. They had the audit committee, the executive had met with the auditor, accountant, and so they just presented the budgets for the adventure park and the theme park, and their plans for the future. Just to let you know, the picnic park, which is just before you get to Upper Clements, is going to be closed this year. Upper Clements actually owns that property, and DNR's been taking care of it, but it's costing them something like $15,000 or something, because they have to mow, they have to keep, you know, and the people are going in and vandalizing and knocking over the outhouses, so they have to replace them, pick them back up, and all that kind of stuff. So they're going to close it for this year. They haven't had very many people using it. They own that property in the long-term plan. They have long-term plans for that piece, which is, they're considering putting in an RV park, which means that people could bring their RVs there for the summer or whatever, and then just walk right down to the park, to the adventure park. So, yeah, there may be some discussion about that, but they said there's very few people using it. And I must say that the person who's in charge, what's his name? Greg, he is excellent. He's right on top of everything, his budget, what, you know, they're doing. It's sort of a downtime right now. They're just starting to rev up again, you know, advertising, all those things that are so important to keep that park going. He's on top of it. He's doing, well, I think it's a great job.
That's great. The next is waste check. Warden Gregory and Deputy Warden McAlpine. I sent out the minutes. You didn't get the January report? Anyway.
Excuse me. I'll wait till we're done.
Yeah.
I want to make a comment on the
Yeah.
intentional cases.
So with the waste check, we did discuss the medical waste, we discussed budget, we discussed the policies that were ready, and they were all passed. It actually wasn't not a bad meeting. We didn't have a few people there, but it was well done. The regional chairs, updates and committees were sent in. The policies of 2013 are there. They were passed. The reports and action plan in the environmental office of the minister. Any questions or concerns on waste check? Next, Western County's Regional Library, Deputy Warden McAlpine.
There hasn't been a meeting, but we meet next month, so, in March.
Okay.
Going back to waste check just for a second, the one thing I wanted to mention is that I was really pleased to see that the RFB is going to continue to fund the enforcement officer to the tune of $100,000 per region for another 3 years. So
Yeah.
that was very positive. So,
Enforcement officer?
yeah,
Oh, good.
They were busy.
Didn't come from
Oh.
the road,
yeah.
Way around the province.
Saw that in the report.
Next is the Weymouth Doctor Recruiting Committee, Councilor Manzer and Warden Gregory. We met, and I haven't received any minutes from that meeting yet. Okay, just making sure. We discussed who should be on the committee, some ideas, talked about working in collaboration with the Clare Medical Center. I went with the delegation, the Clare delegation, to Sherbrooke, where we met with students, and I had one that has told me Southwest Nova is what she wants. Because of her French, I really talked to her a lot about Weymouth. She seemed really interested. Of course, Claire is looking at her too. And so was everybody else from the rest of the province, but she pretty well made it quite plain she wasn't interested in Cape Breton area at all. And she said she was interested in Southwest Nova, which could be Argyle. Someone mentioned Yarmouth, and I said, not over my dead body.
Whatever you want.
Question,
Yeah.
Or bowling pass.
I'm not aware, but maybe they do have, but I'm not aware, does Argyle have a medical clinic?
No, yes, they do. Yeah, they have a medical center of some sort.
And where is it located?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
Dr. Dion was with them,
okay.
and I never asked her. Of course, sounds awful, but you're more interested in the students and everyone.
I wasn't, yeah, I
Yeah.
just wasn't aware they had one.
Well, they must, because she's at something, and they're looking for some more doctors in the Argyle area.
Okay.
And Eldrick was unable to attend, he usually attends.
Okay.
Cumberland was there, Shetty Camp was there,
Mhm.
the province was there. They had done in Montreal, a big recruiting, before that. And, none of this committees were to that. We all went to Sherbrooke and talked to Nova Scotia resident students.
Mhm.
So I really was pleased. I felt it was worthwhile, but I will guarantee you, there's no way in the devil that I would drive from Montreal to Sherbrooke with a navigator going and me in the back seat. Oh my God, just getting out of Montreal, you want to cross yourself 3 times, and that was out at Trudeau Airport.
I get out of the car, make my wife's driving in the city. They do, I was like, I'm pulling over right now.
There was a real bad accident on the way down. Our plane was delayed by 4.5 hours, so, you know, we sat in the airport for 6 hours. Yeah, we were supposed to fly out at 8 o'clock, or just before 8, and we got to fly out by 11:30. So we
Weather,
were,
just weather
weather.
Yeah.
And
Just
coming
as well,
back, we
just
had,
as well, you see.
no, we had mechanical, one told us mechanical, one told us weather, so we still don't know which it was.
Flying sunlight?
Air Canada,
Okay.
and coming back, we had Porter's was still delayed. So either one, didn't help. I will tell you, Dr. Giantremont was fantastic. He supported me wholeheartedly when I talked to Nightingale, looking at it in Weymouth and working with them. He had already talked to Dr. Westby, really on side. He backed me up when I was talking to students. Even though he was there for Claire, he had no problem pushing Weymouth.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, it was really, it was fantastic. I felt part of it, and I'll be honest, we should have been at the table before. They had asked about us, and we've never been.
Mhm.
But in fairness, we've never really been asked either to attend
Well,
until now.
well, it was to Claire, and that, but I mean, they have asked about us, why we've never been in there.
You mean the student or the Claire people or the students?
Students,
Oh.
you know, when they were talking, you know, as to the recruiter, or to them, they said, Digby's never here, why isn't Digby ever here?
Well, we should be there from now on, always, no matter what.
Funds I can suck into Claire.
When is the next one, like in fall or
Uh,
in spring?
They usually go once a year from what I gathered. I think it's not till next year. But they do invite them down to a dinner over Christmas. Claire sends them also a package over April. Everyone who went brought stuff with them to remember them by. That was the only thing I fell down on. I should have had something for them.
So are we gonna maybe send something to them?
I'm
April or
hoping, I wasn't allowed to take their emails. I gave them my card and asked them to email me, and anyone who does, I want us to send them a gift certificate and saying, you know, for exam time, think of us, if you can think, and I, you know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we were the only one, and I mean, Argyle did a called breakfast for the students. They brought homemade granola that a lady down there makes.
Oh.
They brought frozen lobster so they could mix it with their eggs. They brought maple syrup from down there. They had nice Claire bags made, you know, that you can carry around for groceries after.
How many did they take? Like, how did they know how many students?
Well, apparently it's known, and I will have to check with Ronnie, but there was 8. So they know.
There's some best practices for us to emulate.
Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And you know,
Or shadowed,
you
Gonna
know.
bring my ace
or shadowed, it's a wing tail.
wingtails. I had duck tongues once.
But you want something students is gonna use. You don't wanna take them a book, because that's what they're gonna be interested in. They're gonna be interested in stuff they can use.
Like in eat in particular.
Well, that all
Students are
helps.
famous eaters.
Yeah.
in my
So,
student
and
days.
I met a Claire from Dartmouth who is interested in rural medicine. She was older than the rest, so 27, I figure. We did a lot of talking. I was real, like I said, she did, and this other woman really impressed me. And then Jean-Marc was there, who I'd already met when he was with Dr. Moses. So was, because he put me, hi Linda, because he recognized me from the hospital. Nice to see you here. I said, you thinking about us? He goes over and sits with Claire. But it was okay. He was, you know, he's already told me he did.
Oh, they had eggs and lobster in it, man. Of
No,
course
that was
they
our
said.
guy.
Oh, wait, all right.
So anyway, but just talking about the region, talking about the benefits of working collaboratively, did the whole 9 yards. You know, so concern was, who are you gonna get to work with, you know, that type of thing. So when I used Weymouth, I said you'll still be in collaboration with Claire, you'll be in collaboration with Dr. Westby. You know, I said the Nightingale service, we will work out, but it would be there.
Last week, I we had the REN meeting in Yarmouth, and Ronnie Baum was there
Mhm.
as well. This is before you went to Sherbrooke.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about the doctors and stuff, and he thought that it'd be kind of good if it wasn't even a way that the doctors rotated around, like say someone was in Metagan, and then they went to work in Weymouth and vice versa and all that.
That has been brought up before, and the docs weren't interested.
Okay, well, this,
But that doesn't mean that they won't be in the future.
yeah, he raised it to me,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
I just thought that was sounded positive too, because especially with Dr. Westby being the only doctor right now working out of the Wayne Clinic, if you know.
Yes.
So,
Well, Dr. Ron goes down every Friday.
right, but
That's only
it
Dr.
would be
West.
good, it would be good that it was another doctor would,
2 more. They got room for 2 more.
yeah, but I was thinking even on the interim, someone would even go in there and fill in some, help take the pressure off of Dr. Westby, that would be great too.
Oh, yeah. Well, we gotta get Nightingale in there. They won't go to paper, they want Nightingale.
Mhm.
So, that's a,
Can I ask that possibly that the Weymouth Doctor Recruiting Committee sit down and meet maybe with the village of Weymouth?
they're on our committee.
Are they on the committee? Okay, good, because they own the building, right?
Yes, yes.
But we should sit down and talk about, you know, going
They're
forward.
already looking at renovating.
Are they?
Oh, yeah, that's all in the works with them.
Actually, our meeting that we're having next week is actually happening.
Pardon me? Okay, good.
So, good committee.
There's money well spent. So it's
Yes,
like
it
an
was.
investment, right? It's an investment. It may not pay
I
off right
mean-
away, but it will in the future.
Yeah, I think if we can get like Claire, the first, like you said, the first few years,
Do it right.
but you build them, and then, once you get them, like, they're gonna be filled up this year.
I'd be really interested to go over the next one. Compare this
You know?
this design.
And like I said, Dr. Dontremont was just fantastic. Ronnie and Connie were great. I mean, Dontremont was, but I mean, I just like the way he backed me up,
Oh, he's great, he is great.
you know. All right, on saying that, we will go to council reports. Councilor Manzer.
I had it all written down in my stuff, but I left it home. It was mostly just the committee meetings that we did last month. It wasn't anything structured.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't anything over and above. So I'll pass the rest of this.
Councilor Evans.
I attended the Southwest Health District Authority's presentation on the budget and the future in Yarmouth on February 8th. On the 15th, I represented the warden and the council at the Flag Day ceremonies at the Digby Regional High School. I went to the Building Our New Economy at the Fire Hall on the 20th, and I was at a workshop all day in Yarmouth at the New Nova Scotia Community College called Good Manufacturing Practices. It was put on by the Department of Agriculture, and it was presented by a company called Perenia, a private company that's going around the province. We had representatives from 3 different companies that are producing Brussels pie. We had a couple of farmers who have abattoirs. We had Eamon's Meat Market in Yarmouth. It was a really good cross-section of different companies and things. The only couple things that I found was that it was sort of geared to large companies that had like hundreds of people working for them, as opposed to most of these companies or most of these businesses were small businesses, family-owned, and most of them are working 24/7. Like the guy that was sitting next to us said, I'm going to lose 3 days just coming here today to be here, but the Department of Agriculture made it mandatory for these people. So anyway, there's going to be a follow-up, probably another 1 or 2 day workshop within a year after they get sort of all the feedback, I think, from the different things. And I think these are what's leading to is new regulations that the Department of Agriculture is going to mandate to these places. So they wouldn't say, but that's what my thoughts are. I attended the African Heritage Dinner and Gala on the 23rd, and that's it.
Okay, Councillor Tudor.
I'm not gonna bother the council different meetings. I put on 1 3-hour class for the students for a bursaries and scholarships last year. It was very successful. One kid got 12,000, another kid got 16. So they're now all showing up. Every single one of them is showing up. I also put them to work. The food bank had run out, so before the class they spent 2 hours. They had a few carloads and they went door to door. And now the food bank's back filled up, yahoo! And hopefully the kids will go, well, that's what I'm doing tomorrow, and it's the only time I have available. And I want to get in before the March 1st break. Gentleman with a long illness. I'm trying to do something through the government emergency housing. It'd be a real stretch if that works, but I'm also contacting charities in regards to any possibility for funding for a heat pump. The wood heat is so it's killing it essentially. Dropped off food also. Got all that out. Fellow ran out of wood. Dropped some off, got split and delivered. Just to tide him over because of the snow. It snowed in his wood pile that's way off in the woods that he drags the logs out individually. Tough guy. Fundraising, still doing a few things for On the Neck and for the person whose house burnt down. I was called by somebody from Alberta who's got my name from someone as somebody that can help them to find an apprenticeship for an electrician. Don't like the lifestyle in Alberta and wants to move down to my district. So woohoo, no problem, we need one. I'm trying to get a hold of Don Millette from the Department of Transportation. He was supposed to get a hold of me for this month, and I want to, under the provincial election coming up, I want to get Freeport the same treatment Westport got. But I have to argue, as you know, that it's all one interrupted project, and geographically it is. There is no start and stop to any of it. It just runs the whole way through, and I'm very confident that once he sees it, especially in juxtaposition to the work that's been done on Westport, that it'll be very that is clear it needs to be done. I've been talking with the ballpark, getting some benches made by the IA class, free of charge. 4 issues in regards to social services. I won't really give you the details of that, privacy. I've been working on the possibility of CDIP in regards to the abysmal internet service, trying to get assets and liabilities for the current crop there, get my hands on the contract. I've been having real difficulty. The meeting's been at the flu for 4 weeks now, and I'm supposed to meet Saturday, so hopefully something will work out. But even if that doesn't work out, I think there's a real appetite down there for a CDIP in regards to this. So I'm going to be moving ahead. I'm talking to Travis, is the new supervisor for the lights, and getting a list of the lights that need to be done in the district. I sent about 8. I'm still working on the lighthouse issue that's coming along. I dropped off medical equipment for someone. Oh, this is a good one. Two fellows have been interviewed and took the road test for driving the plow. As you know, if there's anything more irritating to me than one guy in a car driving someone all the way down to the island to look to see if it needs to be plowed and then driving them back, I don't know what it is. It's just such a waste of money, it's unbelievable. So now this is really positive. Two fellows on the island have both been interviewed, and they've both taken the road test. That's all I can ask. And hopefully they did all right. So I'm hoping that they forced the issue of this improvement. I can't remember what that was about. Oh well, lots of things. It's actually the last 2 weeks have been the busiest 2 weeks I've had since being elected, and it was actually a lot of fun. I get energized by it.
Okay.
Solution, maybe.
Deputy Warden McAlpine.
Before I give my report, I just want to say that I received the information that was requested to do. That's the report from Dr. Linda Duxbury, Professor at Sprott School of Business from Carleton University in regards to the demographic change in Nova Scotia. So they gave it to me in paper form. They wouldn't give it to me over the internet. They don't want to send it that way.
Oh.
So I'm going to give this to Linda and have copies for everybody made, because I believe this is something that we want to use when we have a strategic planning session. I think it's, I think everybody should have a chance to look at this when we start to talk about the population. And the reason why I say that is because one of our biggest hurdles is the fact that we've been losing 1% of our population every year for the last 20 years. And I don't know that there's an easy fix for that, or if there is a fix, but we have to address it to see where we're going. We both attended that session, so we both know what's going on, but it would be good for everybody else to have it, and I want to go through it again just a refresher. But she did an excellent job speaking about the demographics, not just in Nova Scotia, but actually across the world. So, with my report, I've been on the road a lot. Needless to say, I've been really busy with the province, working with the UNSM or for the UNSM in regards to setting up new economic development agencies across the province. And but also in the last month, to throw some more things in there, we had a roundtable meeting with the ministers on January 31st, which was good meetings. We had meetings with the finance minister on the 7th. She wasn't able to attend the roundtable meeting, so she gave us a separate meeting, which was good. We were able to, message that we wanted to send was that with the province backing away from the MOU agreement that we had with them a couple of years ago, we feel that we've already contributed to the budget requirements of the provincial government. We don't want to see any more hits. We just can't afford it. We don't have the money. It was a good meeting. We met with her for about an hour and a half. We also, on the 8th, we had a UNSM board meeting. And then myself and the warden, we attended the sustainability conference from the 12th to the 15th. And I'd like to say that at the next committee of the whole meeting, I'd like to be able to do a presentation on the sustainability committee. We have slides to show. And I'd like to just briefly go through that, just to let everybody know what took place. Then I went on the 19th, I went to Yarmouth for the REN meeting to talk about setting up a new economic development agency from Digby and Yarmouth County and McDown Clark Harbour. Barrington attended the meeting, but Clark Harbour wasn't present. Apparently this is the second meeting that's taken place now. Clark Harbour hasn't been there. Whether they will come in at a later time, I don't know. But it was a very good meeting. We met for 2 hours. Good discussions on how we want to see this go forward. Barrington still, I think they still want more information, and there will be more information available probably by the time we meet again. I also had a meeting last week. We reviewed all the comments from the 6 meetings we had around the province in regards to setting up the new RENs, and we kind of, we hashed around all the advisory panel representatives from around the province all go into Halifax and have one meeting with the province prior to coming out and having the meetings with all the councillors, just because I'd like when they come back out into the municipalities that they really have some defined answers for the questions that are going to be before us. And also, I attended the African Heritage Dinner on the 23rd and thought that once again they had a very, very nice dinner, and it was well attended by the community. So, that's my report.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is on January the 29th. We had the Black Heritage Month launch. I was one of the speakers to just bring greetings, and that went well. Then I met with Aaron Caldwell, to discuss interesting ideas on seniors and what can be done with seniors. Where I met with Councillor Manzer and Councillor Adams just to talk a little bit more about, remember, and I said go forward it over to DART and see what can be done through DART for that. I also attended the Senior Provincial Curling, Bondsville, Provincial Bondsville, I think it's called. As I told them, I'm glad it was them doing it, not me. They're much younger than I am. From there, I went to Ottawa. Oh, sorry, that's hospital. You don't need the hospital. I went to Windsor, Ontario, to a sustainability conference with Deputy Warden Michelle Pine. I didn't bring my passport. So, I also attended the Lobster Bash fundraiser and the Digby Dist Fire Department fundraiser. Both on the 16th. I also, we picked our volunteers, as I mentioned, and I attended the Mayor Warden meeting in Yarmouth with Linda, and I thought that went well. And I was going to say I did not make the meeting on the 22nd, but I haven't got anything that it was canceled, nothing. Just came in.
They did cancel the caucus meeting, I do know that, but I don't know if they're having another one. I heard they were having one this Friday, but I don't know. I know I talked to Redford Chief when we went to the economic panel down at Fire Hall last week. He was quite upset that the information's not coming out properly, and he was the one that told me that it was canceled, and that he thought they were going to be meeting this Friday, so I don't know.
Well, I haven't got anything,
Yeah.
which is something wrong, because I had one of the ones originally told them I would be attending. Then I wrote that you would be attending in my stead.
Yeah, and they
Then-
canceled it.
Yeah.
Who's the chair of that, I
Hunter.
forget.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cumberland Council. I also went to the dinner and gala of the Black Heritage Month. I attended the meet and greet for Philip Holiday, for him to thank everyone on the 24th. And now I am back. I also did the doc recruiting on the weekend. Left Thursday, came back Saturday. Much better driving. So, on saying that, that's all I have to report for extras for the month. Now, I would like us to be able to go to camera, so we're going to take a 5-minute recess.